dealing with grief, if another pet in the household has died, or one of the owners has died, that can be really hard for a pet to deal with. And a lot of people misinterpret the symptoms.
You will see pets behaving what we call bad behavior after one of their sort of sibling pets has died.
They'll start to destroy things in the house. They'll start to pee and poop in the house. And you get very angry at your pet, but you really have to understand that they're acting out almost like a little child would.
Sure.
They don't know what to do with these emotions and with this grief. And so you can use Bach flower remedies. We talked a little bit about that in the last show. A combination of Bach flower essences, Star of Bethlehem can be very helpful. And you can use homeopathic remedies very specifically for grief.
That is amazing. That is incredible.
Yeah.
We can use all of these particular remedies for this pet, and all of a sudden they'll start leveling out or emotionally.
They will. They will. With homeopathy, you have to really, the most important thing about homeopathy, aside from picking the right remedy, is interpreting how they're responding to that remedy. So as an owner, you have to be really almost like a detective and take notes of how the pet's responding after they've been given the remedy. Because you really just give it once, usually, maybe once or twice in a chronic situation, and watch the pet and watch how they're responding. And if the remedy's done what it's supposed to do, it's already encouraged the life force to change and to heal the body emotionally and physically, and you don't keep repeating it. And that's something that's new, sort of a new idea for a lot of people. In fact, I really have to be careful when I send homeopathic remedies home with people, because they want to give one pill a day for weeks and weeks. And you have to really tell them, no, this is very different than what you're used to doing. This is not like an antibiotic. It's very powerful. Once you give it, if it's the right remedy, it will do what it needs to do, and you don't want to interfere with it.
That's amazing. I want to talk a little bit about vaccines.
Okay.
Just briefly on vaccines. I know that's a real wide subject.
Yeah.
But let's talk about vaccines, because you're supposed to bring your dog in for this or your cat in for this or what have you, and they need all of these vaccines. Do they really? Or is there some that they don't need? I mean, tell me a little bit about that.
It's very controversial, and I would say that Western doctors probably feel
The most animosity
towards holistic veterinarians on the subject of vaccines, because at the extreme level of holistic medicine, practitioners believe that pets should not be vaccinated at all, that vaccines are very harmful to the immune system. They encourage the body to respond in very negative ways. They can encourage cancer down the road.
Wow.
There has been some research to show that there is at least some foundation to these beliefs and concerns in human medicine as well as in veterinary medicine. The diptet vaccine for children, there's a lot of controversy around that. I'm sure you know about that.
I've studied that a lot.
Yeah, so it really becomes a decision that you have to make with your veterinarian if you're working with a holistic veterinarian. I believe in annual wellness exams regardless of whether you're doing the vaccines. A lot of Western doctors say that vaccines are important because it gets people to bring their pets in, but people are very good. They love their pets, and they'll bring them in whether there needs to be a shot or not given. In Western medicine now, the American Veterinary Medical Association is sort of rewriting the guidelines on vaccines for pets. So instead of annual vaccination, they're recommending every 2 to 3 years. And you can do a blood test that actually measures the level of the titer of the vaccine in the bloodstream to see if they even need to be revaccinated at that time.
Wow, okay. And do you do that in your practice then also?
Yeah, we do rabies vaccine titers and distemper, parvo, all of those things,
Because otherwise it just gets to be a routine, and this dog or cat needs this vaccination. Maybe they don't need it then.
And it really is. I have seen many illnesses that I do feel personally that have been attributed to or have come on after a pet has gotten a vaccine.
Wow.
It's been documented that certain seizure disorders can come on, or certain skin problems after a rabies vaccine has been given. Again, there's a lot of controversy in this area, and I think that you have to make a really educated personal decision on something like this, because vaccines also do serve a purpose. And,
sure they do.
They have helped to eliminate parvo, which is a very serious vaccine problem for dogs, and feline leukemia
in cats. But you just need to go into it with
good education and not do more than needs to be done.
No, I agree 100% with that. Now let's talk about, we talked about some pathologies, cancer, we talked about vaccinations, we talked about this wellness. What I want to talk about right now is there a certain diet, individual diet for a certain dog? Say, as an example, somebody has a Doberman, somebody has a Collie, somebody has whatever breed they have, say, of a dog.
Right.
Is there a certain diet that they should be following for that particular breed that they have, or is there any validity in that at all?
On a breed-by-breed basis, it depends on what you're doing with your
Okay.
pet. If they're doing certain athletic or physical things, then I think diets can be very helpful. Just like with a human athlete, you know,
Sure.
certain diets can be very helpful. Behaviorally, diets can have a strong effect on behavior. In Chinese medicine, we talk about cooling diets and warming diets. So if you have a pet that has like a thyroid condition, low thyroid or high thyroid, you will change their diet accordingly. If they have a high thyroid, you want to cool their system down. Low thyroid, you want to rev it up and bring it up. And so that's addressed a lot in Dr. Shel Schwartz's book. She talks a lot about different diets, warming and cooling and that sort of thing. Different illnesses respond well to diets. You know, when you have cancer, you really want to boost the immune system, and so there are specific diets and dietary supplements that you would use. But for overall wellness, it's important to pick a diet that is going to work best for your pet. And you know, there are some basic guidelines and recommendations, and I think we talked a little bit last time about making sure that you can stick to this diet with your pet. But I have to tell you that by the time I'm through with my patients, you know, my clients tell me that their pets eat better than they do in general.
Well, I believe
really
that
do.
also, though. I do.
Yeah,
you know, because humans just grab a hamburger or grab anything, a soda or whatever they can grab just to fill themselves up, right?
Yeah.
And it's not really the best thing for them.
No, I think it's probably easier to put your pet on a stricter diet than it is to put yourself on a strict diet.
Now let's talk about some of the breeds. I know, like as an example, say maybe a German Shepherd has hip dysplasia, maybe this particular breed has this or whatever it is. Is there a certain diet or certain guidelines you should follow because of that? Or?
Absolutely. When you have a large breed dog, you want to make sure you don't feed them too much protein. There's a lot of emphasis on feeding. Breeders will recommend you feed dogs calcium supplements and high protein, and you can actually cause some real problems in their growth and development that way. So you need to tailor the diets for that specific breed of dog in that sense.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, and there are a lot of diets that are helpful to prevent you know, osteoarthrosis or degenerative joint disease.
Right.
So you really do have to work well. It takes a lot of research. Holistic medicine for animals as well as pets takes some time and effort. It's,
sure it does.
You know, just like it is with us, you have to take time to treat yourself right.
Exactly.
It's the same with your pet, but it's worth it. It really pays off in the end.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's no question about it.
And a lot of my patients, my clients, have gotten into holistic medicine themselves. They've started with their pet and they saw how well they responded, and then they become a vegan or you know, do something themselves.
Well, what's interesting though, it seems that the same thing, what's really interesting to me though is that when somebody brings their pet into you, you always ask them what are they eating or what are you feeding that pet, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the first thing that's been asked.
It's on. I have a list of questions that I ask, you know, very specifically for every single one, and that is way high up on the list. I need to know what they're being fed, and I need to know, you know, what we can do to make their wellness, you know, make them a more well pet.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Taylor, I'm going to give the health tip of the week, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and bring Molly on because I know you want to do some acupuncture on her, show the viewing audience out there exactly what that's all about. Now, for the health tip of the week, stretching. People always ask me, why do we need to stretch? Well, I'll tell you what. Stretching, first of all, what it does, it gives you better mental and physical capacity. You know, you only need about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes of stretching every single day, and your body will have a very, very good foundation, and it'll put you in really, really good health. I always tell my patients, you will rust out faster than you will wear out. So go ahead and stretch for about 5 or 10 minutes a day and watch your health just excel. Now, let's find out about Molly. Let's find out about some acupuncture points.
This is Molly.
Hi, Molly.
She is a Jack Russell Terrier. This is my own personal dog, and I'm hoping that she'll cooperate with us today. She has had a lot of acupuncture done at home, and in general, she's pretty open to having it done.
Good.
Most pets are. Most pets respond extremely well to acupuncture. And basically what I wanted to do is to just show the people, you know, where you would put the needles in for a couple of different things. There's a very good calming point on dogs, which is the top of the head, and there's a point that you use there called Ba Wei.
Ba Wei.
Yeah, and these are, the Chinese tend to name their points. You know, there's Stomach 36, which is 3 Mile Run. That's a really famous. She thinks it's a cookie.
Oh, she thinks it's a cookie.
This happens a lot.
It's not
so what I would do is just put the needle in the top of her head, just like this. And that's Ba Wei. It's a calming point, and she's just going to sit there with that needle. She didn't